What's up guys? Happy Sunday. I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to give you a really simple breakdown on how to do SEO optimization for any website, any landing page, or any blog. And so hopefully this is a really simple process for you to follow. I even have a checklist for you to go through that can hopefully simplify things quite a bit. I'm also going to suggest some free software tools you can use in order to help boost your SEO even further. So keep watching. Search engine optimization helps your content rank well for a particular search activity. SEO is the computer language that tells Google to have your website show up in a specific search inquiry. Some common myths with SEO is some people think simply having a website guarantees that they'll show up in search, and it doesn't. You must have your website optimized for SEO. Now, the good news is this doesn't need to be super in-depth or involved in order to be effective for most small businesses. A general rule of thumb I like to tell people is if you're depending on SEO as the only way of bringing in new business, then you should have your SEO optimized by professionals because it's very important that you rank well. But if SEO is one of the tools that you're using to drive traffic, among using a few different strategies, then you're probably okay to optimize it yourself. And I know for me personally, when I design websites for clients, I usually include the SEO foundations in the website setup. So if you needed a whole website setup, I usually do the SEO optimization for you and I include that in the pricing. So that's an option if you're having your website designed by somebody. Regardless of whether you want to pay for it or not, I'm going to spend some time now going over the key factors that are most important in allowing Google to understand your content. I'm also going to factor in ways that you can make your content a little bit more readable for your audience. And this isn't specific to SEO, but it'll still affect your SEO because if a lot of people are satisfied with your content and interacting with it, then that's going to help you in terms of sales. Now let's spend some time going over the most important factors when it comes to SEO. The first factor is mobile friendliness. If your website isn't mobile friendly, people are going to click off your site. An easy way to test mobile friendliness is to simply search your website on your phone and see if it's easy to navigate. The second factor is site speed. If your website is slow to load, that will cause people to click off right away, and those will typically show up in your Google Analytics as bounces. In order to fix this, you can compress videos and image files so that they're smaller and don't take as long to load. In general, the bigger the file, the slower it's going to make your website. In order to check the speed of your website, you can go on a website called Page Speed Insights, and then you would just paste your URL in it, and it will analyze your website speed. Ideally, you want your website page to load in 3 seconds or less. The third factor is broken links. This is any link that doesn't lead to another page. Let's say you're directing website visitors to your lead magnet, and then when they go click on the lead magnet link, it says error or this page failed to load or it doesn't exist or whatever. Google doesn't like this and it will penalize you for it by lowering your ranking. The fourth factor is site security. If your website isn't secure, it's very easy for people to steal information on your website, and they can actually get any customer payment or lead magnet information. And because of this, Google will penalize sites that aren't secure. So checking the URL link to make sure that your website has a padlock icon on it is a good idea. And that tells us whether a website is secure or not. So even if you're a visitor visiting websites, make sure it has that padlock because it's very easy to hack websites that aren't secure, and they can get any payment or customer information on you, even if you're just a visitor on that website. Finally, the fifth factor is if your website can be found by Google. Google does this thing called indexing, which is basically when Google crawls your website and determines what information is on it. Google will eventually get around to indexing your website eventually, but something you can do to speed up the process is to submit a sitemap to Google's Search Console, and this is a request on your behalf for Google to go and index your website. I'm going to tailor this on how to specifically do SEO for blogs, because that's a common way to boost your SEO ranking online. But at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can optimize your SEO on your website, and all the techniques that I'm going to go over for blogs is directly applicable in your website SEO, except it's a little bit less work, and we'll go over that together. The best blog topics you can use to help optimize your SEO is how-to blogs, or blogs that say the top X ways to achieve X result, or the ultimate guide to whatever it is your topic is. And basically, people typically read blogs because they are trying to solve a particular problem, and so topics like this typically perform best. When you're writing a blog, you want to do a little bit of preliminary keyword research first. This is because you not only want to pick topics that are going to be related to your product and service, but you also need to be mindful of the keywords you're using with that topic, because you want to make sure that you're using targeted keywords with a high search volume and low competitiveness. Typically, you want to look for a search volume of 150 and up. I also suggest using a free SEO tool called Ubersuggest. In order to use Ubersuggest, you can download the free Chrome extension, and then when you go to search for your topics, it will tell you the cost per click and how many searches are typically made per month using that keyword. Plus, it will tell you on the right-hand side, out of 100, how competitive that keyword is. And you can also go directly into Ubersuggest itself, and it will give you a long list of related keywords along with what the search volume and competitiveness is. It's also important to make your blog scannable. People are in a rush and they want to be able to solve their problem as quickly as possible. Therefore, if you are able to make your blog scannable, readers are more likely to slow down and read the full article if they know that it's going to answer their problem. But typically, we scan an article first to see if it's going to give us the answers we need before investing time to actually read the whole article. In order to do this, you want to make sure you have a content summary at the beginning. This is a quick intro to what the blog is about. Next, you want to use bullet points for important points, because when people are scanning, they will look at the bullet points first. Using images and videos can also help break up your text and appeal to different audiences. And you can also break up your paragraphs with multiple subheadings. And all this is doing is helping people look down the page and get the gist of what's being talked about in the article itself. To optimize your blog for SEO, you need to have your primary keywords, and then you want to use a couple of secondary keywords, and then finally use a few images and videos as well. To give you a super quick checklist on what you want to achieve is you want to have one high volume and low competitive keyword, and this is going to be your main keyword, and so it needs to be highly relevant to your topic itself. And then you want to have 3 to 5 related but secondary keywords. These are other words that somebody might use to describe your topic, and you want to make sure you're using your main keywords in the heading 1 tag. And you want to use your secondary keywords in the heading 2 and 3 tags. You also want to be putting these keywords in your image alt text, your URL text, your page title, your meta description, and your internal and external links. The final things you want to do aren't optimization related, but they do help you grow your blog. And so I highly suggest sharing a post about your blog on social media. And if you have a blog, I highly recommend you go on Pinterest, as it's an excellent social media platform to drive people to your blog. If you're wondering how you can post about your blog on social media, it can be a really great idea to convert blogs into carousel posts, and then direct people to read the full article on your blog by clicking the link in your bio. You can also summarize your blog's main points in a reel, or you can do an IGTV version of your blog. The good thing about doing IGTVs is you can actually paste the link of your blog directly in the IGTV and direct traffic to your blog. Now, to show you what I mean when I talk about H1 tags and meta descriptions and everything like that, I want to show you what it is I'm talking about. So my website is on Squarespace, so I'm going to show you what that looks like specifically on Squarespace. If you're using any platforms like Wix, Shopify, WordPress, or anything like that, the process is very similar. It's just the layout is going to be a little bit different. So I'm I'm going to show you how that looks on Squarespace, but your website might look a little bit different, but the idea of it is still the same. And if you're having troubles with it, just let me know and I'll see what I can do to help you. So I've created just a blank empty page here. And so I'm going to click on the settings icon. And so Squarespace gives you an actual section for SEO. And so your SEO title, this is going to be like a header tag. So you want to make sure that you're using your keywords in this tag. And then this is your meta description. So that's the little description that will show under here that will tell people what the page is about. Once again, we want to make sure that we're using our keywords in this section here. And so once you're done with that, you would hit save. So let's say workshop tutorial. And so you would just hit save on that. Now, when it comes to actually writing down your content in the blog article itself, this part is really easy too. So you'll notice here there's heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. So your secondary keywords are going to be used in this heading 2 and 3 section. And then your primary keyword would be heading 1. Okay? And so basically Google's assuming that bigger text has a big point to it, and so that's likely to use the keywords that are being discussed in your blog topic, right? And so that's literally all that means. Google will prioritize H1 tags over H2 and 3 tags, but it'll also prioritize H1, H2, H3 over paragraph information as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Make sure that if you're using any type of headings that you're trying to use your keywords as well. And this will drastically help with the optimization of your blog. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you or if you learned anything new, please like or subscribe below. And if you're interested in more in-depth SEO training or interested in knowing more about marketing in general, I highly suggest you sign up for my workshops. It's free to join and I cover the A to Z to marketing. So if you want to learn how to market on Facebook ads or learn more about SEO optimization or sales page copy or anything like that, it's really simple to join and you get access to all the tutorial videos. So I'll leave the link in the description box below, but I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next week.